Hello my friends, it is February and Valentine's is around the corner, so I thought I'll share a recipe with you that is a little bit different, but it is delicious, chocolatey, and it's a gluten-free, believe it or not. So this is a roulade that we're gonna make as a chocolate base. So for the cake portion, I have 4 ounces of dark chocolate here. I will add some water, boiling water, into the pot to make a bain-marie so I can melt the chocolate softly. You can also use the microwave, but I noticed the last time that some people had problems with the microwave. You can burn your chocolate if you can control the temperature. So this is the original way of melting chocolate. I add hot water. I make sure that the bowl doesn't touch the boiling water, and I put this on the stove on low heat, mixing every once in a while until the chocolate is melted. When that is melted and it's not too warm, we're gonna add that into our dough. Let me put this on the stove and I'll show you how to do the rest. Okay, now that I have my 4 ounces of chocolate melting, I will start the cake. The cake has 4 eggs. You see 3 here because my eggs this time I got the jumbo eggs, and those weigh as 4 eggs. But you, with your regular eggs, you need to use 4 large eggs. I will separate the yolks from the whites. I'll put the yolks in one bowl and the whites in another bowl. So now, normally for egg whites, to beat them successfully, you need to have them in a clean bowl and with the clean petals. That's why I'm gonna start with the egg whites, because after finishing the egg whites, I can use the same petals without washing to beat the yolks. So let's see if we have a heart peak or not. It's staying, it's not drooping down, so this is the consistency that I need. So if I do this, it doesn't really fall. Into my yolks, I will add half a cup of sugar plus a tablespoon, a touch of salt, just like that, and I always like to add a little bit of vanilla, about half a teaspoon. Now I'm gonna beat this until it's pale light yellow, pale color. Now that I achieved thick and pale yellow, I'm ready to add my 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. I will sift it in. Now I just mix a little. I will add the melted chocolate into the egg yolks. So now into the yolk mixture, I'm gonna add part of the whites, and I will fold it in, like from the sides to the center. When you achieve a mixture that is homogeneous, kind of one mixture, you add the rest and you fold in. So now we have achieved the batter that we need. Now to bake the cake, I took a baking dish. It should be 9 by 13. It can be Pyrex. It's better if it's aluminum. Actually, it cooks much better. But this is what I have today. And I line it with parchment paper that I already spread with a little bit butter. um, even though we're using the paper, we need this cake not to stick on it. And into it, I will dust a little bit cocoa powder instead of flour, so I stay with the theme of the chocolate. I will spread this batter evenly into this dish. Now this I will put in the oven, 350 degrees. It should take about 15 minutes, maybe 20 in your oven, depending on the oven you're baking it in. And I'll show you what's next. As the cake is baking, I'm gonna prepare the filling. For now, for the filling, what we need is 2/3 of a cup of whipping cream. That's 2/3. I will add 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And I will start whipping. Now that the whipped cream is thick, but not too thick, don't overbeat it, we're gonna add 2/3 of a cup of Greek yogurt. See how nice and thick it is? Optional, you can use a little tiny bit of rose water in it to flavor it, but that's optional again. It's up to you if you wish or not, but it really goes well. 1, 2. That's more than I want. And you can also put some Chambord in it, which really goes well. I will also put about a teaspoon in there. Just like that. And mix. And that's ready. Let me check on the cake. Now, for the cake, I just took it out of the oven, but you need to flip it on a prepared base, which I have here parchment paper. And I'm gonna dust a little bit powdered sugar on the parchment, just like this. And onto this, I will flip this cake, just like that. And I'll cover with a damp towel and let it cool, and this will keep it from drying so I can roll it after it cools down. Meanwhile, while this is cooling, I want to show you also another option that you can have. Now this cream is gonna be the filling. Those raspberries I'm gonna sprinkle all over on top of the cream and roll them into the roulade. But those juices I'm gonna use to create a sauce that I'm gonna place my portion, my piece. When you serve it on a saucy base. And this is an optional, but I love that option. So to do that option, I use the juices from the raspberry, and I add to it about a little over a third of a cup of raspberry spread, and mix that together. Into this, you can also add a little Chambord or brandy or your favorite liquor that goes with raspberries and chocolate, or you can leave it plain. It's also delicious. But since it's Valentine's, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of this. So now it's assembly time. The roulade, after I put the wet towel on it, I let it sit for 15 minutes, and then I rolled it to give it the flexibility to roll without cracking, although this is part of the look, the charm, to have few cracks. Don't forget it has no flour, so it has no flexibility in a way, but here we are. Now here we're gonna put the cream. Just like that. On top, we will just put the raspberries. I'm gonna leave few raspberries to add onto the sauce too at the end. There we go. Now I'm gonna try to roll it, and you use the paper at the bottom to help you roll it right, just like this. And now this goes onto the platter that I have prepared. Very gently move it into the platter. Here it is. That's how it looks. Okay, so this is our roulade. Now you need to put it in the fridge until the cream firms back up a little bit, because don't forget we're rolling it while it's still a little bit warm, because that's when it's flexible to roll. Now the way you serve it is put a little bit of that delicious sauce on the bottom, and then the first piece, normally it's not gonna be the best, but you cut with a very sharp knife and you flip it just like this, and you place it in the plate, and then you put a couple of preferably fresh raspberries if you wish, some drizzling sauce, and just dust a little bit of powdered sugar, just like that, and it's ready to eat. Now that we're all done, and I already sneaked and tried it, and I thought I have to give you my reaction. It's just delicious, and I wanted you to go ahead, make the effort, because it's worth your Valentine. I also added some berries, some blueberries. I had those, and they go so well with it too. And it adds yet another layer of texture, flavor, and wonderful experience of explosion of all kinds of different tastes and textures in your mouth. But the king of all is the delicious chocolate roulade. Try it and enjoy, and happy Valentine's Day.